I think there's a common misconception that a boy needs to arrive at his first experience at the boy choir with either an incredible background in music or some innate talent that he has. Well, as I tell the boys often, I think talent you're born with maybe makes up 2% of whatever you end up being. And the other 98% is hard work and curiosity and enthusiasm. In 1965, Bob McSpadden, who was then the coordinator of music for Cincinnati Public Schools, noticed that not as many boys were coming out for the middle school and high school choirs. So his idea, along with some of his colleagues, was to start the All-City Boy Choir, which he did. They held their first rehearsal on March 6th, 1965, and within 2 months had their first concert down at the Hilton for a gathering of the Schoolmasters Club. In 1976, the choir separated from its relationship with the Cincinnati Public Schools, which of course opened up the organization to boys from schools from all over, and the real growth of the organization began.
Along the way, more and more, the boy choir began to perform for other community organizations, and eventually there came a need to establish its own concert series, its own performances that distinguished the choir as its own separate independent entity.
Randall Wolfe, who was the Boy Choir's third director and stayed on for quite a few years, was responsible for establishing the group as a community nonprofit organization, incorporating the group and finding its first home.
I was the conductor of the Boy Choir from 1986 to 2008. In December of 1981, I was accompanying a voice student at the College Conservatory of Music, and his teacher said, "You know, his voice is a little higher. Can you play that maybe a third higher?" And I was able to do it fairly well and transpose the piece. And the student said, "You know, I'm the assistant director of the Cincinnati Boy Choir. We've been looking for someone who can do that sort of thing." I think there were 10 concerts scheduled for December, and I was told that the accompanist was handed the schedule and said, "I quit." And so I was asked to come in and at first play the piano. And Scott didn't have time to be the assistant director anymore, and the director said to me, "I'd like to hire you as the assistant director." I said, "What does that mean?" He said, "Well, a little bit more money and a lot more work." But it was really a great experience because the choir had just started to tour.
One of the most amazing things I find about the Cincinnati Boy Choir is that it's an educational organization at its heart, and that we're working with youth, but these boys at the top level are carrying on a professional performing schedule.
The most enjoyable part about being in the choir is that at such a young age, I was and am able to perform at, I guess, a level of excellence and professionalism that is very rare, and you wouldn't be able to get that nearly anywhere else.
So many things that young people do are to prepare them for how to do them as an adult. And in the boy choir tradition, the act of putting on a performance is the top level at which that can be performed.
There's a lot of, discipline involved, and, I like that. I like that Mr. Eames, to borrow a phrase, kind of hold your feet to the fire a little bit. But I think that's how we become better choral singers, just, pushing ourselves to our limits.
Along the way, the boy choir began touring, and this has become an important part of what the boy choir does each year. Each year, the boys travel either within the United States to visit with other boy choirs or abroad. Previous seasons have seen the boy choir in the United Kingdom, in England, but also in Vienna, Austria, and for the first time in 2015 in Australia, which we're very excited about.
I'm in the tour choir, and I've been to London, England. I've toured around the U.S. I've been to California, and this year we're going to Australia.
I've gotten to go around the U.S., and then I've gotten to go out of country. I've gotten to go to the U.K., and then this year we're going to Australia, which I think that's a really neat opportunity that most kids wouldn't really get to have.
You know, I didn't know what to expect when Sean first joined. I had never heard the boy choir. I didn't really know much about it. I just knew that a boy in my neighborhood was in it, and I knew that Sean liked to sing, and so he went and auditioned and made it. I didn't really have any expectation, and what they have done has far exceeded even what I thought maybe would it be.
We're such a sports-oriented society that these sort of programs are great to give you another opportunity to build a different side of your personality, a different character, and expose you to some great music, a lot of fun. The boys have a lot of fun together. Like you said, they build a lot of camaraderie and build those friendships while doing something that's beautiful that a lot of people don't get the opportunity to do.
It's really a testament to all the families that are involved with the boy choir and have been involved with the boy choir over the past 5 decades that this organization continues to thrive and continues to attract boys from all over. No matter where I go in the city, I'm always surprised by how many people I meet that say, "Oh yeah, I was a part of the boy choir." And these are people, yes, that are singing in choirs now and are professional musicians, but are also doing things that have nothing to do with music.
I'm Zarin. I was a boys choir member in 1978 and 79. My day job, I trade foreign currencies for a large London-based hedge fund. But my nighttime job, I'm the lead singer of a popular rock band here in Cincinnati called Swamp Thing. My connection with the boys choir didn't escape me though. My oldest son, George, became a boys choir member this past fall.
I think that the mission of the boy choir, it really in its heart hasn't changed since 1965 when the boy choir was founded. What we strive to do is give any and every boy that wants to participate musically the tools and the opportunity to do so. So whether the boys choose to go on in music or not, our hope is that we're giving them something that will enrich their lives and help them academically and help them with social responsibility and in all the ways that we can. But at its core, a love of music is really the end goal.